It is basically every bit as serious as thermonuclear war. We thought that was really serious. Now, you could argue that was silly. We spent 50 years worrying about that, and we never had one. I would argue maybe one of the reasons we never had one is that we worried about it for 50 years.
We all know that coal is polluting the planet. It's a simple fact that coal is responsible for around 30% of the globe's carbon dioxide emissions, the majority of which arise from burning coal for power.
One of the most common questions that people ask is, do you think that the peak oil that you write about is going to produce a global catastrophe? And my answer is, it already has. There are people dying right now as we're speaking. There are people dying right now over oil. The climate is changing because of oil.
The American way of life, to put it bluntly, is not sustainable.
Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, when humans started burning fossil fuels and emitting so much pollution, a change in the balance of gases in the air began to occur. And when these levels started changing, something called the greenhouse effect intensified. It works like this. When the sun's rays hit the atmosphere and the surface of the Earth, approximately 70% of the energy stays on the planet. The other 30% is reflected into space by clouds and other reflective things. But even the 70% that gets through doesn't stay on Earth forever. Eventually, it gets radiated out. Some of this heat makes it into space, but the rest of it ends up getting absorbed when it hits things in the atmosphere, like carbon dioxide, methane gas, and water vapor. But a major problem in recent years is that more heat is staying on the planet and can't get through the increased level of gases. Now, this doesn't sound like such a bad thing until you realize that even small changes in the planet's temperature can cause really bad things to happen. For example, ice melting in our polar regions. If the ice melts, some coastal regions, like parts of Florida or New York City, could potentially be swallowed up by the oceans, displacing hundreds of millions of people.
Solar power comes in a variety of denominations, let's say. There are the kinds of things that you would put on individual houses. That is readily available, easily installed. Once you've put in one of these kinds of systems, that freezes your cost of your energy at that point. So if electrical prices, for example, were to continue to go up over the years, you don't feel those increases.
Use of wind energy will increase in the future and help the United States to become more energy independent.